guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys have been staying safe in all these wicked times. Today in this little video we're going to be doing some stuff on the RX7. We're going to be making a fuel cell sort of swirl pot tank, in tank, blah blah blah, whatever it is, into the back of the RX7. Like I said before, the past one, the stock one is so wide that the fuel sloshes from side to side. It's going to be good. Right, first things first though, need to tidy up this bench. What a bloody mess. Let's get to it, guys. Boo! There we go. Right guys, so the bench is now tidy to a certain degree. It's not up to some standards, but at least it's room for me to fanny about with stuff. So let's get to this anyway. So here we have a 20 litre fuel cell. Yes, 20 litres not the biggest, however, I just plan on drag racing and track days and stuff like that. So the reason I went for the 20 litre opposed to the 40 litre is it's a good piece tall, and it's not so wide. I don't like the idea of the fuel sloshing side to side, so basically with a narrower tank it'll be better for fuel starvation, as in stopping it. This one also has a little level gauge inside here, and obviously the top seal itself. Some goodies inside. The foam stuff I'll probably remove, to be honest. So parts we have here, we have some AN fittings, AN8. The reason I'm using AN8 is because that is the feed I have going to the rail, you know, because we want plenty of fuel. This here is a rollover valve. You need one of these. Basically it's a little ball bearing inside this mount here, and when you roll over it stops the fuel coming out of the tank, and obviously in normal situations it acts as a breather. This, I can't remember what I bought this for, but we might find out later on. Just usual AN fittings. This here is the daddy pump. This pump here is a BR540. It's a Bosch genuine BR540 pump, which is massive. You're talking like the Walbro pumps. If we're talking a Walbro 450, for instance, which I normally use, great pumps, really good pumps. However, they're 450 litres per hour. Yeah, they're just on the limit of maybe 600 odd horse on a piston engine. I want 7/800 horsepower. And I'm not too keen on the usual 044 pumps you normally get for these, which would probably screw in there, would be relatively easy, but they are noisy Hooser things. So I decided to go for a single one of these to simplify it, and I'm going to stick this inside the tank. For the power connections themselves, you'll see what I'll do there, but I'll do what I've done with the RX7 tank and drill 2 holes in here, and have bolts actually coming through the aluminium fuel cell itself, and I'll use like a nylon washer to seal it up. In fact, I'll go and get one now. So yeah, nylon washers, so if you can imagine that being inside the tank, and that poking out the other side. This will sit on the top. I'll insulate the middle with a little bit of tape, and then I'll have these bolts, like bulkhead fittings, sticking out of the tank. And I've run like that for, well, 7 years on the RX7, no issues at all. I'm going to lay everything out, and I'm going to have a look to see what we're going to do for the routing of the outlet for this pump. Right, so now I've got this flexi stuff on here. It's just corrugated fuel hose, so if I want to run like methanol or something like that later on, it doesn't kill the rubber inside, because some rubbers don't like being inside the tank. What I've got from there is up the top, I've got one adapter to take it from AN6 to AN8, and then the AN8 adapter will go in here, and this will come through the tank. Yeah, it's a fair few adapters, however I wanted to have the pump so I can remove it, so that's why I've got so many, just so I can easily unscrew, you know, unscrew the fittings and not have to worry about twisting the pump around and stuff like that. Same with this side here, I'm going to stick on one of these crimps, but the plug on the bottom means I can take the fuel pump in and out for just, I don't know, servicing, is that a thing? service pump, and as you can see there, it's a nice little duct down here, so I'll probably get the pump to sit in around about that area. Not sure exactly how I'm going to mount it down that way, or even hold it down that way, but it'll probably sit like that, and this hose will maybe come up to the side. So yeah, like I say, I can fit my hands in here, so it is easy enough for me to undo fittings and stuff like that. So yeah, let's get to it. I'll drill a hole in the tank for the fitting. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a hole in the new fuel cell. Let's go. Hole number 1. So, there we have it. The bulkhead fitting is now in there. So, and hopefully you guys can see that, because at current, you can't see the camera. So yeah, sticking out the bottom, I've put the nut on to hold it in place just now. I'll get the TIG out, and I'm going to TIG weld right the way around there. I am AN6 return, so I will use this, and I might actually weld it onto, cut this boss off and weld it onto here, because I'm not going to be using that one. And obviously this itself seals itself, so with these 2 washers. So yeah, I'll fit this elsewhere. Maybe there, I'm not sure. Yeah, could maybe fit it there, so we'll get there. But first things first, let's get a TIG welder out and TIG this up. Right, so there we go, all welded up now. So yeah, this used to be black, remember, but a bit of heat in there soon changes colour. As you can see underneath here, that's the other side, also a bit hot, but it'll be fine. This side here, however, as you can see, the hole just comes underneath, because that is the return. It's now AN6, that's AN10, which is just far too big for my stuff. What I need, who needs an AN10 return? Now we're going to do the rollover valve. So it says that 14 mil hole I'll bore through there, and just have that, so that goes right the way through, and I'll bolt it. It seals with this, so there's no need to weld it. So what I've done here is I've actually crimped and soldered these here. To be honest, the uninsulated way, I'll just do it that way anyway. I'll give it maybe, I don't like the thought of tape inside, because obviously the glue and stuff like that melts with fuel, so I'll just keep them separated, it's no problem. They're insulated with nylon anyway. But yeah, like I say, I used some solder on there and a good crimp. So like I say, it's only going to take about 20 amps, maybe slightly more for very brief moments, but these crimps I'll be using for the other side are actually rated for continuous 25 amps, so that's more than enough for what we're going to be using. So yeah, next stage, drill a couple of holes for the bolts to come through for the bulkhead fittings. Yeah, buddy. So yes, as you can see here, we have the rollover valve in, we have the return in, we have the pump in, we have the fittings all up, Pumps in there nicely, sitting down in a wee crevice, and as you can see here we have the two bulkhead fittings. Yes, it's on the side. I was going to put it at the top. I'm not confident that the fuel doesn't get past these O-rings. I just put it on the side. Like I say, I've run this system before and this type before. So what I do is I actually have the earth onto the tank as well. So as you can see here, we have 0 ohms, and then if we go onto the so if I put that on there, as you can see, we have open circuit, so that's fine. It's exactly what we're after. So yeah, just got to stick in the level. The level looks like it's actually like a universal sort of GM style. Just the usual resistor in here that moves up and down with the height of fuel. So here we have it, all back together with some nice shiny bolts. I've stuck on one of these connectors here. They're just the sort of universal waterproof ones, and put a fitting on the top there so no shite goes in there. So basically what's going to happen is this is going to sit down in here. It'll sit a little lower when I cut away this here. It is dark. And there's Louise. Hello. Hello. It's dark outside and the kids are inside sleeping. So the issue is it's too noisy. Hello guys, how's it going? It's a new day. We've got an hour spare before the missus goes to work. So what we're going to do is cut a nice big square out here. I need to cut it so it's going to be level with the floor, you know, so I'll probably cut in this sort of direction here and a wee slat out the bottom for the lower end of the tank. There we have it, a nice big hole in the back. But a lot of purists just now absolutely cringing, but just remember this car cost me £200, so I don't mind taking an angle grinder to it. So yeah, here I'm probably going to get a hammer and I'm probably going to raise this up to miss these AN10 outlets, but the rest looks like that'll bolt down nicely. For height, you know, it's not sticking right out, so I'm not too worried about that. And yeah, look, if you have a look underneath, there's plenty space. Yes guys, so that's it done. It's in place and it's down solid. I've drilled through bolt holes either side. I've used M8 on this side, and as you can see, it's the sealant right the way around. I used Tiger Seal. Just to kind of seal it up for environment. I've done some other wee holes I had around as well, but as you can see underneath, we have the bottom end sticking down, and I've also sealed it around there too. So yeah, I've put these big washers underneath, big penny washers, 8mm, and sealed everything up nice. I'll probably give that a bit of a paint underneath as well at some point, but yeah. So the reasoning behind using 8mm bolts opposed to 6, which these holes come drilled for with this fuel cell, is you've just got to think in the event of a crash, really. So like worst case scenario, a full tank of fuel, 20 litres, so that's going to be 20 kilogram obviously, and or thereabouts, and if you hit something hard, that's 20 kilogram going to want to come towards you. So you don't want to be holding it down with little 6mm bolts that could possibly just pull themselves out through the metal itself, through the standard body. So I've drilled everything out. I've used 8mm, and I've got washers on the top and then big penny washers on the bottom to spread the load out. I've also used nylock nuts underneath as well, just to make sure everything's nice and secure and it doesn't vibrate loose. So yeah, but as you can see, the thing is solid, and this here is the terminals obviously for my power. and I'll have that running up here. My relay is going to be down the front now, so, and the negative will probably just come off here, and I'll maybe just ground it onto here or something like that. So yeah, now basically to open it up, just turn this, pull up, and in there we have everything we need. So happy with that. Sorted. So one last thing before you guys go, I want to show you what I'm going to be doing with this regarding to traction control. So the MAXXECU that I'm using has traction control, and it's fully configurable, fully tunable. You can do whatever you want, the amount of slip you want to give, timing, you know, the full works, what you want to do to gain that traction back up again. So awesome bit of kit. I cannot wait to start playing with it, but you need to have ABS rings. I did have ABS rings on this, however I chopped them off because I thought I'd never use them. So the back, I've got the standard diff for the 350Z, has ABS mounts in it, and the front ones basically, I've gotten another hub from a friend, front of the RX7, and it has the ABS ring on it. What I have here, this is actually an ABS sensor from Mark 2.5 Mazda MX-5, and I've spun this ring around slightly. So when you spin that ring around slightly, it'll actually fit in here and it'll line up nicely to the RX7 wheel. So what we have here though, just to prove that it works, is the little oscilloscope. I don't know if you guys remember when I'd done the video of the quad bike, I used this. This is just a little cheap oscilloscope from eBay, so nothing fancy. So I've got here 0.5 volts div DC, I'll put it in here 5 milliseconds, that'll do fine. And if we start spinning this here, these teeth going past the sensor, we should start seeing this here. Let's have a look. See the waveform? That waveform is every single tooth passing that sensor. It's giving off a little voltage. So if I go faster, you can see the voltage gets higher and they get closer together. So that's exactly how ABS modules and speed sensors and stuff like that work. The higher the voltage or the more frequency it sees that voltage from the VR sensor dictates the speed of the wheel. But I like to run Hall effect, and I can't fit a Hall effect sensor on this front one because the angles and discs are in the way and stuff like that. So what I will be using is a VR conditioner, which takes the sine wave as it did in the last one with the pickup coil, and it changes it into a square wave. That square wave is 5 volts, so it's a lot safer for the ECU to see. So yeah, that's the plan when it comes to traction control. It'll look at the front wheels, which are not turning, or not driven I should say, and it will look at the back wheels, and as soon as it starts to see the back wheels speeding up past the speed of the front wheels, it will start retarding timing, cut and boost, you know. It's completely configurable. Like I say, this MAXXECU is some bit of kit, and I can like set it up. I don't even need the same wheel sensors in the front. Like I think the back is a 38 tooth wheel in the back, and it's a 44 tooth on the RX7, and it doesn't matter. You know, the MAXXECU, you can put that details in. It's completely configurable. So yeah, basically as soon as it starts seeing the back wheels start spinning, you can retard timing, you can start taking away boost, you can do anything you want just to kind of gain grip again and then be on the limit of that grip. Perfect for track, you know, some tight corners or drag racing, launching the full work. So I'm really excited to see how that gets on, especially coupled to the 7-speed DSG gearbox. DSG, DCT, fuck, I get mixed up all the time, but it's the same, it's just different names. But anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure being back on the scene again. It's been a pleasure having you guys back watching the videos, and if you got this far, thanks for watching guys, and we'll catch you in the next vid. Cheers.